On this episode of Side Talking, we're speaking to drag racing pioneer, hot rodder and founder of Invada BMX's Chuck May. From hot rodding in the early days to racing in Anglia, a Topilino, Altereds and a dragster, before building a Charger funny car, then starting his own BMX brand, Chuck has done it all. This episode of Side Talking is brought to you by Heather Bray Pies, makers and bakers of premium quality pies. Call in on your next road trip with 3 great freeway locations, north and south of Sydney. Welcome along to Side Talking, Chuck.
Oh, thank you, mate.
So you've had a mad career with all the drag racing, the BMXs and the hot rodding. So what actually got you into cars early on?
Oh, when I was young, a teenager, I always loved cars, especially Fords.
And when did you get your first hot rod?
The Roadster.
Yeah, okay. Was that the 34 Roadster, was it?
No, sorry. Trish, I borrowed some money off Trish, my wife, and we brought that 34 coupe.
Oh, okay.
Barry Berg.
Yeah, right.
That's the one, yeah.
That was a Channel 34 coupe, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was undercoated. I kept it for a long time. And then I drove it to Lee Carson's house, South Granville, up the top. I thought we'd better paint it because it was undercoat. And then I thought lilac with the fly spray.
So you used the fly sprayer to do it. How good's that?
Yeah.
That's the early spray gun.
Yep.
The fly sprayer.
Painter. I was.
Yeah. So you had that for a little while, and then you had other cars as well. You had like a 32 sedan.
47, a 40 model.
Yeah.
Had a few Fords.
Yeah, you had a mad collection of Fords over the years.
Yep.
Your wife told me the little story that when she was at work and she'd hop on the bus, there's a really attractive bus conductor on there. She didn't know who he was. And every day she'd rush to knock off early to see him and that. And it went on for a while. And then all of a sudden he disappeared. And then you ended up getting together with your wife, Trish. You went to the Dragons Hot Rod Club first meeting and you walked in and here was the bus conductor and it was actually Ronnie Williams and he had his new partner.
Yes.
So how did that meeting go?
Oh, it was cool. He was okay. I said, hey, hang on, he's more handsome than me. No.
So, and he gave you your name. He gave you
the Chuck.
So how did the Chuck name come about?
He said, what's your name? And I told him. It's Chuck. I didn't mean to say Chuck. And he said, oh, Chuck. And I said, yeah, that's me. Yep.
Okay. And you've been great mates ever since.
Yeah, one of my best mates.
And then you ended up with this 32 fully fended Roadster and him and you and another fellow drove down to Riverside and raced down there. So what happened with that race?
Well, I had to drive. We entered it and I went there to race it. I done a few runs and halfway through the track I slammed it into another gear. I think it was second. It was first, second. And the 8-ball dropped. It broke off. And splintered. It was real sharp and cut my hand. Broke off. As I went in, cut in half. And I went, oh. So I come back into the pits. I said, Ronnie, look, it was on my palm. I cut right up. He said, oh, don't worry. We'll bandage it up and I'll drive it. I said, good.
Okay.
So Ronnie raced it.
He finished racing and then you had to drive all the way back to Sydney, which would have been a bit of a trek in the day with all the old roads.
Yeah, we drove back and, yeah, it was all right, but...
And then after that was your first drag race, then you ended up with an Anglia. So how'd you come across that?
Yes.
So that was Les Fryer.
So Mother's Worry.
Yeah, so you saw that. Was that at Castlereagh Racing, was it? Okay. And then after you raced that a few times, you got into a Topilino.
Yeah, I raced it a few times in Anglia because we took it to Queensland for the Drag Fest. We took it there with Ronnie and we took it there and had it and dragged it and brought it back. Oh, that was it. And I went, changed for another car.
Yeah, so you ended up getting a Topilino body and then putting all the stuff off the Anglia onto the Topilino body.
And sold the Anglia body.
Okay.
It went. And
then that actual Topilino ended up being Psycho 1, which Graham Cowan ended up with. Okay. So then you ended up building yourself a T altered, just with a flathead in it, and you used to race against. Well, you raced against Bob Dunn a bit later, but you
Angelo, Johnny Taylor, all them in them days. Yep.
And you upgraded that to a 332 Fairlane motor, wasn't it?
Yes.
So what's the go with the cardboard story you'll tell me about?
Well, Bob Dunn, he was quicker than me all the time. He always beat me in his feet. And I went, righto, we're going to Queensland with Jimmy Reed, and it got us to go there as a group, a paid group when we got there, or when we left and come home. And I thought, righto, I'm going to get him. I put the box on there, cardboard box over the carbies. And as I said, when we got there, he looked at me, Bobby Dunn, and said, geez, what do you got there? I said, it's a blower, and I'm going to blow you away. And then I went, and I took it off.
And it was just carbureted.
Yeah, took it off the carbies.
Yeah, wow.
All those, yeah.
Cool.
And that was it.
Yeah, okay. So back when you had the first altered, the first Outcast, you had East Coast, and you also had Custom City wheels, Tony Andrews.
Yeah, that was
as sponsors.
Alan Crouch gave me the body.
Okay.
From East Coast Autos. That's why on the side it was East Coast Autos.
Yep. The wheels come from Custom City from Tony Andrews.
Tony Andrews.
Yeah, okay.
Gave me the mag wheels.
Right. So you had a couple of sponsors early on, but then you got more and more after that. So after that one, you had with the 332, and you ended up building a dragster, which would have been one of the earliest dragsters in Australia.
Competition dragster.
Competition dragster. That would have been one of the first ones.
Yeah, I built that because I thought something different.
And you built that in the backyard?
Yep.
No shed?
No.
Just outside?
Yep.
So after you ended up racing the competition drags, you ended up building Outcast 3, which was the Hot Wheels car.
Yep.
Which was a mad deal because you had all the sponsors. So how did you go about getting all those sponsors?
Oh, I had Coca-Cola, Certs, Camel.
Okay.
Coca-Cola, Camel, yep. And
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels,
Mattel.
yeah, Hot Wheels. Yeah. They never gave me much, but they helped me get the car sign written and all that.
But you had a lot more sponsors than a lot of the guys back in the day, really.
Yeah, I know. Someone got jealous.
That would never happen.
No.
So with that car, that ended up being injected motor in the end, didn't it? So that small block Chev, you had P&R do all the injection on that.
Yeah, he built the motor. Bruce Phillips.
Yep. And that ended up going, what speed that ended up going in the end?
I managed to get 148 miles an hour.
Okay.
But I wanted to do to 100, 200.
Okay.
And the injectors kept frosting up because he'd done the injectors, he made them.
Okay.
And he came to the pits and I said, Bruce, I can't get a full run out of this, and I put nitro in it. And he said, we'll change the
nozzles in it.
The nozzles, yeah.
Yeah.
So he done that, but it didn't work. And so anyhow, that's what's that.
So it had potential to go a lot quicker if you'd sorted it.
Would have.
Yeah. But I mean, that car was a pretty famous car with all that sponsorship, and it did everything. And
that car.
Yeah, there it is there. So with the with that car being a Mattel Hot Wheels car, it ended up getting lifted up by a crane. So it was laid onto a flat board with a couple of chains holding it up, I suppose.
Yep.
And it got lifted up onto the Chevron Hilton, about 7 or 10 stories up.
Yep. Ronnie got onto it.
Ronnie Williams was on there on the platform.
Wouldn't get up it.
No, you wouldn't get on it. So he got on there, and it's got no park or anything like that. All that stops it from rolling off the platform is the handbrake, and he's leaning over, pulling the handbrake on a flat board, going 7 or 10 stories up with a crane.
He was game.
He was a lunatic.
Yep.
And then rolling it into the Chevron Hilton, because it was a trade show, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
A Hot Wheels trade
show.
Yeah, for Hot Wheel cars, Mattel.
Yeah, well, that would have been a crazy deal having that thing lifted up.
Yeah, but that was the deal when I got the sponsorship. It had to be advertised for them.
Yeah, okay.
Because they even paid for the sign right of the sign, put the Hot Wheels on there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right, okay.
I painted the car, but
they did everything else. So that car was that the original East Coast body off Alan Crouch, or that was another body?
No, I don't know. I think Mac Douglas.
Okay, he did that. Okay.
Yeah, he gave me the body.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then you'd done a bit of glass work on the top and everything as well.
I done the glass.
You also had a 34 Roadster years ago as well, which ended up you selling that to Ronnie Williams.
Yeah, because his wife wanted it. Faye.
Okay. So where did you get that one from, or did you build that car?
Now I got that from Barry Berg.
Okay.
Brought it off him. Yep.
So it was already a going hot rod then.
Yep.
And then ended up, you had it for a while, and then obviously Ronnie ended up with it, or his wife did at the time.
Yep.
Okay. That was a pretty impressive looking car. And then after that, you went, I want to build myself a funny car.
Yep.
So tell us how that came about.
Well, I thought, I'm going to go funny car because I always loved them. And Chris Farrell from Melbourne was making Chrysler's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
He said he rented one, a Chrysler, and then took it home and made a mould of it. And then chopped the roof and all this and that out of the fiberglass mould.
Yeah, so he actually hired one from a rental car company and took a mould off it.
That's what he did.
Wow.
I can talk about him because he's up there now, poor bugger. Anyhow, yep, and he came home to build it, to put all the aluminium in it and all that. I got him to do that too because he worked on Alan Moffat's cars in Melbourne.
Yep.
So he's good. And he done that. And then when we done that, I brought a Hemi from Chris Farrell in Brisbane.
Mm-hmm.
I brought Ash Marshall's Hemi out of his dragster.
That was out of the Scorcher car, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Another famous engine.
Yeah, that was, It was.
Wow.
Ash Marshall's, yeah. So I put that in there and built it, took it to the drag strip. They opened it up for me. Graham, can you check it and, the engine?
So that was Graham. Was that Graham Cowan?
Yep.
Yeah.
He done that. Checked it all. He sat in it. I was standing there. Another guy started it up and said, she's right. So then we brought it back home. Then we added it to the drags.
Wow.
Then I thought, I'm not driving this. I got frightened. I'm not lying, I got frightened. Why I was frightened? B.B. Mulligan in America, his blower blew his head off. Backfired and went on.
Wow.
So I said, Doug Farmer, you want to drive it? He said, yeah, I'll drive it. So Doug drove it. We qualified for the Coca-Cola. We got first place. We won. And the next week we got second.
Okay.
Runner-up. And then Doug, we went to drive it again. And I don't know, Ross Mellish was at a run first at his dragster. He reckons that Doug was going well over 250 miles an hour.
Wow.
But he got clocked at 198.
Okay.
And we got down the bottom and there was a big tree stump.
So did he pull the chute, or the chute didn't come out?
He said he did.
Yeah, okay.
But when I got there, the chute was still folded on the ground.
Right, okay.
So, and that was that.
So he hit a tree stump at 200?
More. But
Jeez.
he didn't get hurt.
Wow.
So lucky I don't know, I weren't a welder, but I welded that chassis.
So with the funny car, you also had another driver, which is Peter Latta.
Yep. Peter
racing.
First.
So he raced before Doug Farmer.
He had a drive.
Okay.
He shit himself.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Well, I would too if I was in that thing.
Don't blame him.
Yeah, so he had one go and he went, that's it, I've done enough.
Yep.
And then the other fella took over racing it.
I've never seen him since.
Yeah? You scared him off.
He done a runner.
No wonder.
Peter.
So, and that, like I say, you had all the sponsors all the way through with all your cars, really.
Yeah.
Like the funny car had heaps of sponsors as well, and the crazy paintwork. And Dave Hart did some paintwork on that as well, didn't he? Early on.
He painted the funny car.
Yeah, he done the funny
Lollipop.
car. Yeah, lollipop colour.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it raced for a couple of years, did it, before it crashed?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we raced it. Done all right with it.
So with all the cars you built, most of them you built in the backyard, didn't you, really?
Yeah.
With basic tools?
No garage.
No garage.
No backyard.
Wad them all up and run 200 mile an hour without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Crazy times.
So anyhow, from there, Trish was always saying, geez, I wish you'd hurry up and get rid of this dragster and drag racing.
So that was it. That was the end of the Chuck May drag racing career.
That was the end.
Yeah, and you had good sponsors with that as well, didn't you? Like you had Certs and Sizzler and
Coca-Cola
and that. You had all the big sponsors, and you just walked away. She said, "It's me,
They
me
weren't
or the
big.
car."
Yeah, that was it. Finished.
That was it. Wow. Huh.
Yep. So,
And then you basically had a break for a long while, and then how'd you get into the whole BMX deal?
well, my son Darren, he wanted to go BMX and with his mate up the road, and I said, that's a kid's sport, mate. And then he went racing at Metro West. He come back with a little trophy. I said, oh, gee, that's good. And then I said, righto, I'll come with you. So we used to go there, and then I thought, we'll get a bike shop in Penrith, because Doug Farmer had it and he went to another shop further in Penrith. So I said, I'll rent that. We rented that, all that. When I got into
So that was called
Darren.
Blue Flame Cruises.
Yeah,
the shop. Yeah, so you
cruises,
so you started sponsoring kids racing BMX.
Yeah, we had about 12 kids I sponsored.
So when you had the shop, how did you get into doing the Invader BMX stuff?
Oh, I couldn't get RO plates from Quicksilver, so I thought, I'll make my own.
Okay.
So we made our own Invader plates.
Mm-hmm.
And kids I sponsored, they all got one each, and we were selling them.
Okay.
I was going around taking them to the shops, selling them. Yep.
And what other Invader stuff did you do as well?
Oh, then I started making Invader clothes.
Okay.
I went to America, brought back a sample of gear, race clothes, and changed a bit, and went to Pedal Power, and they made some for me, and I brought them back. I undone them, and I made my own patterns then to make mine, and they were the Invader clothes.
Yeah, okay. And then eventually you ended up making a few bikes as well.
Yeah, I didn't make the bikes, I got them made,
Okay.
Invader bikes, from Brisbane. Super LA made some, and another guy got a guy, his friend, to make some, and we sold them.
Okay. So how many of those you ended up making?
All up, it would have been 50.
Yeah, okay. So they're a pretty rare item these days.
Yeah, my friend's still got a few, and he buys them and he's got them
Yeah, okay.
restored.
And then Darren was racing
Yep.
BMX at that stage, so he was riding to that, and he was world champion for a while, wasn't he? Or something?
Aussie
champion.
Yeah.
Aussie champion.
And then, so from there, we went to America to race.
Okay.
From there, we raced there, and New Zealand. I went with him to New Zealand, someone else, others. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
And that was it.
And at that time, you ended up building another hot rod in between. You did a black 34 coupe
That was early. That was
with the blue flame on it.
Yeah, we built that blue flame.
Yeah.
When we had the shop.
When you had the shop, that was a bit early, but you built that at that sort of stage. I had that for a while, and then you've got rid of that. And
well, from that I worked for Sinclair Ford, so I brought a brand new 351 panel van.
Okay.
That was cheap then off him, and I put blue flame on the side. And me and Trish went detailing.
Okay.
With that, and that was it from there.
Yeah, okay. And then you got back into hot rods with Trish. Ended up with the 38 yellow 38
well, there
Ford
was a
coupe.
guy used to do he was come from Western Australia and Upper Austria, and he was driving along, and I was working in Darren's bike shop, and I seen it, and so his son come in the shop and said, does your dad want to sell that? And he said, yep. So I asked my brother-in-law, he lived next door then, and he said, I showed him, I said, you want to buy it, Dennis? He said, no, I don't want to buy that, it runs on LP gas. I said, all right,
Okay.
I said, I'll buy it. So we brought that. Darren got a loan with me, and Trish, we brought that.
Yeah, okay.
Which we own today.
Yeah, and you've got the flames put on it, and you sort of drive it all the time.
Flames done, and 350 Chevy motor in it.
Okay.
Small, because it's a small block.
Yeah.
And, a crate engine, yep.
Yeah, so at least you're back in the hot rod still.
Yep.
Good to go in full circle.
Yep. Still going.
That's cool. Well, thanks for coming along to SideTalking, Chuck.
Well, thank you, mate,
Appreciate
for having me on here.
Telling your story.
Righto.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. And thank you.
Thank you.
This episode of Side Talking is brought to you by Heather Bray Pies, makers and bakers of premium quality pies. Call in on your next road trip with 3 great freeway locations, north and south of Sydney. Sponsors keep this channel going, so if you would like to sponsor an episode of Side Talking to keep the history alive, email us at sidetalkinghotrods@gmail.com or send us a message on Facebook or Instagram.